Now, the Google factor is something that is an important issue because Google right now is still the most popular search engine. Right now, actually as of 2009, March of 2009, they had 72% market share, followed by 17% of Yahoo, 5.5% of MSN Bing, and 4% Ask. Now, the reason why this is important is while you don't just target just for Google, you know that Google has a lot of power in the search engine game, so you want to make sure that you definitely are optimized for Google. And Google uses what's called a PageRank link analysis algorithm. And the PageRank link analysis algorithm is basically just a number that's assigned to your individual pages of your website to say how popular they are in the eyes of Google. The PageRank, it relies on quality, not necessarily quantity of inbound links. And the PageRank can be checked by Google Toolbar. And as I mentioned, you want to cater to Google, but you also want to remember there's other search engines as well. So keep that in mind. So then we get into search engine optimization, and this is commonly called SEO. And essentially this is the process of improving the volume and quality of traffic from search engine results. So what you're trying to do with SEO is get your web address out there so that search engines can find you, and they can find you more easily and consistently on searches, certain searches, keyword searches, and also placing you higher and higher in the search engine's results page. So the higher up your site is in the search engine results obviously means the greater chance that a person's going to click on your listing and visit your site. So you want to be up there as high as you can be, so that you're going to catch somebody's eye when they do a keyword search. If you're in the number 1 or number 2 spot, there's a lot better chance that the user's going to click on your link and visit your site. Now, it's not an exact science. A lot of people will tell you that there's a lot of different ways that you can perform SEO. And some of those ways are ethical, they're white hat ways, and some of them are unethical methods of accomplishing SEO. And you really want to stay away from the unethical methods, because even though they can bring you temporary results, at the end of the day, if you try to deceive the search engines and the search engines figure it out, your site could be banned, and that just puts you back in a worse position than when you started. So when I talk about techniques in SEO in this webinar, it's strictly white hat methods, accepted practices, and being able to improve your search engine ranking. So right now we're going to discuss some SEO tips, and to start off with, you want to submit your site's URL, your site's address, to all the major search engines. That's just a basic thing. Many of these search engines don't necessarily need this anymore, but it doesn't hurt to do this. So you can usually go to these search engines, and normally they'll have a link on their site to be able to submit a new site to their search engine, so that their spider will eventually come and crawl your site. You want to submit your site to Christian web directories. You have a church and you want to be able to get yourself listed in Christian directories. You can do this or find them by typing into Google or another search engine in Christian directories, and start off by submitting your URL into those directories. Now, directories are generally maintained by humans, so when you submit to here, it can take longer for these entries to appear, and that is if they do appear. Sometimes it's not always a guarantee that you're going to be included in a directory, just like it's not always a guarantee that you're going to be included in a search engine. So start off by uh, Googling these Christian directories and start submitting your URL there. The next thing to do is to submit your site to the Open Directory Project, DMOZ, and you can do that by visiting dmoz.org. And basically DMOZ is a humanly edited directory, huge directory, that will allow people to perform searches on the directory, but it is a human maintained directory where each site that is submitted is to be reviewed before it is accepted. So this one can be a little bit tricky to get into, but if you can, it's worth the time, because a lot of times Google and some of the other bigger search engines will actually pull in some of their results from DMOZ. The next thing is referrals, backlinks, inbound links. Basically, any of these is a link into your site. If you have a website, or you know somebody has a website, or they have a blog, or they have any type of web presence, and they link to your site, and a user visits their site and clicks on a link to your site, well, that's an inbound link. And the important thing here is that you get inbound links from quality sites. It's not really about the quantity of links as much as the quality of links. You can have 100 lower level links from sites that don't get much traffic, and you can get very little gain off of that. And you can also have inbound links from sites that one inbound link from one site that gets a ton of traffic, and you actually do better with that one link than 100 links from another lesser sites. So this is important, and you want to be able to get those links out there, because that helps Google and other search engines find you and find their way back to your site. Also, you want to use a descriptive name in each title and each page, and specify the location in your homepage title. So what you're trying to do with each of these pages is be specific in them, and this will help the search engines determine what that page is and what its purpose is, and they will key on some of those titles at times, not always, but sometimes, in order to place you in the search engine results.